Hey everyone, this is Ted Keith here with Stephen Cannella for SI.com. Well, Steve, we got the Hall of Fame voting results we've been waiting for, and a bigger class, I think, than we were expecting. 4 guys go in: Randy Johnson, Pedro Martinez, John Smoltz, and Craig Biggio. What's the first thing that jumped out at you after hearing those names?
Well, just the sheer size of this class. This is our largest class in, I believe, 60 years, especially coming off of last year's class of 3, which is it was a rarity to get 3 people in a class. To get 4 in one Hall of Fame class is really a treat, and the great thing about this is there's no argument here. They're all extremely deserving. Randy Johnson, 97% of the vote. Pedro Martinez, 91%. I think it's a little bit of a surprise that Pedro didn't do a little better. I'd like to know who those 9% of voters are who thought Pedro wasn't quite worthy of being in the Hall of Fame. Either way you look at it, Craig Biggio getting in after falling 2 votes short last year. This is a big victory for him. I think we all knew that was going to happen. This is really a very strong class, one of the strongest class we've seen in a while, coming off another strong class in 2014. Anyone who argues that Cooperstown, that the writers aren't doing their job with the Hall of Fame right now, I think really lost a lot of steam in that argument with the way this vote worked out this week.
So all the guys who didn't get in, because there's obviously about 30 of them right now, who are the ones that jump out at you the most? For the guys who either made a lot of progress and you think it bodes well for them in the coming years, and who are the guys who maybe didn't make the jump you thought they should, and that's not going to be good news for them?
Well, I think Jeff Bagwell made a very small jump. He stayed almost flat compared to what he did last year. I think that's a little bit of a surprise to some people. I don't think people thought Bagwell was going to get in this year, but I think there's a sense that maybe there was some momentum behind his candidacy. Tim Raines made a big jump for him. A lot of people are going to be happy to see that. There's a lot of sentiment out there for Tim Raines getting into the Hall of Fame. He's still quite a bit short. He's got 2 years left on the ballot, but he went up by about 9 percentage points this year. He's right around in the mid-50s. If he goes up 9 points every year, he's going to fall just short, but I think there's a little momentum behind Tim Raines.
All right, so obviously there are some other names on the ballot who didn't make a jump that we were expecting them to make, and taking aside Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens, because we know what's going on with them, when you look at some of the other players out there, Curt Schilling has not cracked 40%. Mike Mussina went up a little bit, but he hasn't even cracked 25%. Gary Sheffield got 11%. Some people thought he would fall off the ballot altogether. Who are some of these guys out there that you're saying that they didn't really make the move I thought they would, and now the shorter time period, 15 years down to 10, that you're allowed to be on the ballot, this might be a little bit dicier for them than we thought?
Yeah, I think you look at a guy like Jeff Bagwell, who, if you go by the numbers, has a very strong case for the Hall of Fame, but he's not moving up the ladder quite as much as we thought he might. And he's another guy who, even though he hasn't been officially linked to PED use, there have always been those whispers behind him, or about him, and we think that might be holding his cause back. The jump that Mike Piazza made, he went from about 62% to 69%. That might bode well for Bagwell a few years down the road, because Bagwell's a similar guy. It seems like voters might be softening on the Piazza case. He hasn't gotten as much support in the past. So that might bode well for a guy like Bagwell. But we've got 12 months to debate the next class. But for now, Pedro Martinez, Randy Johnson, John Smoltz, and Craig Biggio, your 2015 Hall of Famers. For SI.com, I'm Steve Cannella. This is Ted Keith.